What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the No Job Rob Show. In today's video, we're going to be talking about another mindset shift that you guys can make if you're looking to optimize and be the most productive version of yourself that you can be. Just be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. I upload regularly on the channel with different ways to make money online and get that time, location, and financial freedom. So as you guys may know, if you've seen some of my other videos, Sam Ovens is my idol when it comes to productivity. He's the CEO of consulting.com. They do approximately $20 to $30 million a year in revenue. And he did another recent video that was rather lengthy but worth watching. I'll link it below the video if you guys want to check out the original, but it covered a concept that I'm going to summarize the key points of within a few minutes for you here, and that concept is the way that you do one thing is the way that you do everything. In society today, we have a tendency to compartmentalize and tell ourselves that if we need to flip a switch and do something a certain way at a certain time, that we can do it. And in many cases that's true, but over time it tends to average out to the way that you operate in your day-to-day life is the way that you perform. So let me give you a few examples of what I'm talking about. So one thing that Sam says that's somewhat unorthodox that he'll look for in a potential employee is he'll want to know how clean is their car, because he feels that he can tell if a person has a messy car, chances are they have a messy home, workspace, and therefore they have messy thoughts. They're rather unorganized and cluttered within their own mind. So he feels that he can reasonably deduce that if a person's car is messy, then they're probably not the optimal organized employee that he's looking for. Another example to think about would be whether or not you're a person who tends to finish things that you start. If you're someone who has a lot of ideas and projects that you begin, or maybe it's even correspondence with another person, if you find yourself starting to write an email and then having to come back to it later. Something to think about is, are you the type of person who skips a song before it's over? Do you tend to listen to like a small portion of a song or half a song and then skip to the next one? Because if so, that could be an indicator to you that your habit goes on a much deeper level than just writing the email or finishing the project. It could be a more rudimentary element that makes up who you are. So you want to think about your level of commitment to things in general, like the gym, for example. Are you someone who is able to form a routine to go to the gym? Do you go a couple of times and then fall off, maybe a week or two, and then stop going consistently? In that case, a lot of people will say, oh, it's just the gym doesn't agree with me, but you may, in many cases, have a more deeply rooted problem that's permeating all aspects of your life, but it didn't really occur to you to look at it from that viewpoint. So if we were to draw a direct parallel to business, what people need to understand is that your business is a reflection of yourself, and that means your behaviors and your health. So in that sense, most of the time, any problems that you may be having in your business are not business problems, they're life problems. So if you think about what the problem is and identify it, in my case, I have been very unfocused, and that has kept me from earning as much as I've wanted to at different points. And I've been able to self-evaluate and say, again, for example, how do I operate when it comes to social media? Think about the way that you use your smartphone or your iPad. If you're constantly switching between different apps and windows, and you find yourself distracted by notifications all the time, now you have a text message, now you have an email, now a new video was posted that you got to watch, then those sort of behaviors tend to be reflected in all other aspects of your life. And nowhere is that going to be more preeminent than in your business, the major thing that you're working on in your life. So one of the major mindset shifts that I've undergone is I've been so focused on trying to press forward on my business that I was ignoring a lot of the problems with myself that were actually the cause of why my business was not scaling. So I'm going to make a separate video about specific changes that I've made to improve my performance. But if I were to put it in the terms that Alex Becker put it, you can't do shit until you fix your shit. I mean, it's as simple as that. So if you're not sleeping well, you're not eating well, you're not exercising, you're unorganized, or you're skipping songs, not finishing emails, switching between apps too frequently, then that's going to manifest in the crucial elements of your life, like your income, and in your relationships as well, and your happiness is going to suffer. So I've also been a very cluttered person throughout my whole life. I mean, my bedroom was always messy, car's always messy, even the files on my computer tend to be all over the place. So I've gotten a bit better with it recently, but I've gotten a much more clear concept of how much and how important it is for me to work on, and I can't just compartmentalize it and say like, okay, this is separate from my business, because really nothing in your life is separate from your business, because it's the way that you operate, because it permeates everything it is that you're doing. Again, there are exceptions to the rule, but over the course of your life, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage if you're not looking at it from this point of view. So self-invention is something that people, I feel like, don't really talk about enough, because if you run into a problem that you can't solve, then the actual issue is that you are not the right person to solve the problem. So you need to reinvent yourself into the person who is capable of solving it. So instead of beating your head against the wall when it comes to the problem, or just saying, I can't do it, you need to look in the mirror and evaluate your own habits and behaviors and say, why am I not the person that's able to do this? So something else that Sam said that kind of fascinated me was that he will reinvent himself when it comes to if he wants to get into a mindset of innovation versus being the driving point towards operating the business that he has on a day-to-day basis. And he will deconstruct his habits and reverse them in order to get into a mindset where he can see problems completely differently and therefore see solutions that he wasn't able to see when he was operating at the way that he had been. So his day tends to be very optimized, and you'll see this a lot with high achievers where they wake up very early and they start their day with exercise and meditation. But when he feels like he needs to be more creative, then he feels like he needs to step out and reinvent the way that he operates his life. And he'll start sleeping very late, eating ice cream for breakfast, all things that you would think would be the opposite of what it is that you want to do to perform well. But in truth, he knows that he needs to perform differently, and he needs to do things differently in order to perform in that way. So it depends whom you ask, but he'll tell you that it takes 31 days to form an actual routine. So by the end of 31 days, you can fashion your life to be that of a CEO. I think maybe I should pose this to myself as a challenge, but you can form a routine of waking up extremely early, getting that discipline and that exercise in, and you can also reinvent yourself into a different type of person that may be able to see a problem that it is that you need to solve. So again, guys, I've hopefully eliminated much of the need to watch the original video by just covering the key points here, but if you do want to check it out, it is worth your time. I will link it below, and again, just be sure to like and subscribe. I did miss a couple of days of uploads on the channel, but I have some multi-upload days coming up, a lot of videos in the work, and a lot of content that you guys should find very helpful. Again, just designed to help you guys create more income and freedom in your life. So this has been No Job Rob, and I'll talk to you guys very soon on the channel. Again, like and subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.